So if you're buying a new camera or a new lens, one of the things you'll get recommended both online and in store to buy at the same time is a UV filter. Now many people ask us, what is a UV filter used for and why should I get one? So let's have a quick look. Okay, so UV filters are available in all different sizes, and this is to adapt to various different lenses in the market. And now the thing you've got to be aware of is the front element size of your lens, and the question is, how do you find out which filter you need? Well, a lot of the time they will actually have the millimeters of your thread size going across the front element here written on the actual front, and in this particular lens, which is a Canon lens, it says 77mm. The other place you usually find it is on the back of the lens cap, and that's usually the easiest place as well. So that's 77 on the back of the lens cap. So once you've selected your right filter, in this case it's a UV one, which is what we call a protective filter. It's clear and it's inside this little packet here. You would need to attach it to your front element. And to do this, you just lightly place it on top and then just try to catch the thread. Now it's sometimes a bit tricky to do. The idea of UV filters, of course, is once you've got it, you put it on and you leave it on. Never take it off unless you're doing something really with other filters or lots of filters. Okay, so big question is, why do you need one? Well, with UV filters, as I said before, they protect your front element. We actually have a look at the state of this front element right now. If I take it off here, you get a close-up of this, you can see we've got lots of dirt and grime and fingerprints. Now, it's far better to be able to avoid cleaning a lens if you can directly on the front element of glass. It's always best to try and just clean a filter. Why? Well, if you scratch it or you get any grime on it or anything like that, you're only scratching or damaging a filter rather than the front element of your lens. So once you've cleaned it, and I'm going to use a lens pen to clean this front element, we're going to give then the lens filter a bit of a test. So now I've cleaned my front element of glass there with my lens pen, it's time to reattach the filter, the 77mm. As I said before, we'll just drop it on and just catch the thread, so it's sometimes a little bit tricky to do. Alright, so fully on there. So the question is, what can this protect you against? Well, it's called a UV filter because firstly it absorbs UV light. So that's going to influence and impact your photography only for the better. The other thing, of course, is it protects you when you're cleaning your front element. We've already discussed that. But if you're out in scenarios where you might find that you've got rain, demonstrated here by my squeezy bottle, then having a filter on can only be a good thing. As you can see, that is very problematic sometimes for a camera and a bit worrying. But because I've got my filter on the front, not a problem. I'll just clean it off and we're ready to go again. And what am I cleaning? Well, I'm cleaning a piece of glass which is a lot less expensive than my lens. So what else can go wrong? Well, let's just take a moment to clean this up first of all. So I'm just about finished cleaning my water off. Of course, water is not the only thing that can hit and impact your front element, your lens. We've also got other things if you're out in sandy or dusty environments, demonstrated here by this pepper. Again, that's very problematic. And imagine that was salt or sand, we'd be in a whole world of pain. But again, because we've got our filter on the front there, no need to worry, we just again clean it off. Now this is going to be slightly tricky to clean, but I'll use my lens pen, and this time I'm going to use the brush, and I'm going to brush all that pepper, which is our version of sand today, away from the front element. And as you can see, not impacted our lens at all because of our filter at the front. Now there's one other key advantage of having a filter on the front. I'm not going to demonstrate it here, you'll have to join me outside. Off we go. So probably the most reassuring use of a UV filter is the fact that it can actually add some protection against any accidental damage. For example, if you ever accidentally drop your lens. Now don't worry, this lens was already defective, but what I was keen to show you is the impact that it's had on the filter at the front. As you can see, it's completely smashed. But the good news is once I unscrew that filter and brush away the shards of glass that have cracked, then actually I'll probably have a perfectly good front element. But let's go and test it and have a look. Alright, so we've thrown everything at our filter now, including water, grit in the form of pepper, and equally have just dropped it outside. And as you can see, it's now finally shattered. So if this ever happens to you, you've got to be very careful about how you take the filter off, because obviously we've got glass floating around everywhere. So the first important thing is to unscrew it face down, so any glass that's trapped between the filter and the front element of the lens naturally just falls away. Probably a good idea is to put some paper down to catch it actually, which I've not done. Never mind. There we go, it's gone. So actually, I've actually managed to get a lot out before we've even done this. And if we look now at our front element, very little, if anything, in the way at all. And of course, if I'm using my lens pen to brush any fragments away, I'm taking it away from the front element and trying to avoid going anywhere near it to avoid any scratching. There we go. So, in summary, why should you buy a UV? Well, it gives you absolute confidence in wet weather, in terms of cleaning it with fingerprints, any grit or sand that goes into your front element of your lens, especially if you're traveling on a beach or on safari or anything like that. But most importantly, you've got a very expensive lens there, and all I need to do now is just replace a filter, which costs in the region of between 50 at the most expensive usually, down to about £15, depending on the front size of your lens. So for more great videos, why not subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can purchase UV filters both in store and online. As always, thanks for watching.